Hello and welcome to this special bonus video where I'm going to show you my 5 favourite muscle building exercises for people over the age of 50. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for your pre-order or your order of my book, and I hope you enjoy it when it arrives, and hopefully this video will give you something concrete to get on with while you wait. So I'm going to show you my 5 favourite muscle building exercises in just a moment, but before I do, I just need to let you know that these exercises are not going to be suitable for everyone. Please do get checked out by your doctor before you give them a try, and if they cause you any pain, then please just avoid them. Anyway, let's have a look at the exercises now. So here are my 5 favourite muscle building exercises for people over the age of 50. Now with these exercises, what I recommend you start off by doing is taking 10 to 15 reps of each of these exercises, doing 3 sets with about 1 to 2 minutes rest in between sets. Do the whole program 3 times a week. So I would do Monday, Wednesday and Friday, for example. And if you do that over a period of 2 to 3 months, you're going to be so much stronger, so much fitter, and you'll feel better. You'll probably look a lot better as well, especially if this is your first time doing resistance training. So these exercises are all you need. If you find that they get stale or boring, I've got tons more on my channel that you can choose from, but these cover all bases and hopefully will be excellent for you to get started. So the first exercise we're going to do is called the goblet squat, and I'm going to show you the full variation first, and then I'll show you how to make it easier if you found this too difficult. Now the goblet squat is great. I love it because it works your thigh muscles, your quads, and also your glutes. You do need a dumbbell for this to make it work. So with this program, you are going to need some kit. Dumbbells or barbells that you can use at home are absolutely fine. Ideally, you'd be able to get into a gym to use their equipment, but home stuff is perfect as well. So I've got a home dumbbell I'm going to use here. And to make the goblet squat work, what we're going to do is find a medium weight dumbbell, and we're going to hold it like this. So we've got our palms turned upwards, holding one end of the dumbbell, and we're going to pull it nice and close into our chest like this. I'm going to show you from side on just so you can see me move. Now this is a hip and knee movement, so our hips and knees are going to move together. We're going to keep a nice straight spine. We're going to stick our bottom out behind us and bend the knees as if we're going to sit in a chair. And then when we get down as low as we can, we're going to come back up like this. So I'll show you again. So we go down nice and low and then come back up like this. And again, down and back up. And if I was doing this for real, I'd go probably 2 or 3 seconds down and a bit quicker on the way up. So 1, 2, 3, and then up nice and quick, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and then up nice and quick. 1, 2, 3, and then up nice and quick. Now if you can't get as low as me, don't worry. You'll still get benefits from going to here and back up. That's absolutely fine. You don't need to go thighs parallel to the floor to get better, to get muscle growth. But to get better muscle growth, the lower you go, the better, really. So you can do it at any kind of depth, but the idea here is to keep that nice straight spine, to keep the momentum moving as you go. So we're not pausing at the bottom or the top, and to try and get to that magic 15 number. Now, if you can hit 15 of those, you need something a bit stronger, a bit heavier. So increase the weight of your dumbbell just by a little bit. So we're probably putting it up 5, maybe 10% each time. And then when you find a weight that you can do between 10, but no more than 15, that is your sweet spot. Keep working with that weight until you can hit 15, then make it heavier. That's the idea of progressive overload, and it's a very important principle in your training. So 3 sets of that, have a 1 to 2 minutes rest in between each set, and then you can move on to the next exercise. Now, if that was too difficult for you, I'm going to show you an easier variation just to get you started. So for people who found that quite difficult, the easier variation is to do the same exercise, but to pair it with a chair. So if you found it very tough and you don't think there's any way you can use weight, that's absolutely fine. I would recommend you just do a sit to stand. So to make that work, you're going to come right to the edge of the chair. Again, you can have your hands in this position just to kind of solidify your body positioning when you do move on to a weight later. So you're perched on the edge of the chair, you've got your sitting bones in contact, your feet are flat, and you kind of come forward and up, pushing like this, and then you're going to go back down into reverse, nice and slow. And you can touch your bum down and sit if you wish. That would make it easier. Or if you want to make it a bit harder, you can come all the way down and just touch your bottom and then come straight back up. So we're not actually weight bearing through the bum, we're just letting it touch and then bringing it back up again like that. That's another way to do it. So that's the sit to stand. Again, 10 to 15 reps. But if you can do more than 15, then we are going to start using a bit of weight. So find that nice medium to light weight again to get you started. We're going to put the hands in the same position. We're going to hold this nice and close to the chest, shuffle to the edge like this, and then we're going to go forward, nose over toes, push up like this, and then straight back down. Keep that nice straight back, coming down, and either resting for a moment before coming back up again, if that's where you need to start, or just touching the bottom and then going straight back up. So we're almost using the chair as like a feedback mechanism to tell us that we've gone low enough. So that's how to make it easier, and that's much better for you if you've got dodgy knees, or if you've got some knee pain there, or you've had a knee replacement. This will be better to get you started. But if you can do the full goblet squat, I would recommend doing that just because you can get that little bit deeper. So try that, and then we can move on to the next one. The next muscle building exercise I love for people over 50 is the Romanian deadlift. And this is a great exercise for what we call your posterior chain. So your lower back muscles, your hip muscles, and your hamstrings. So we're hitting the whole back of the body. Now for this exercise, I prefer to use a barbell. Obviously this is just a broom handle, it's just a stick. But when you do it, you want to have some weights on either side. But I'm going to show you this just so you can see me a little bit better. If you don't have a barbell, we can do it with dumbbells, and I'm going to show you how to do this exercise with dumbbells in a moment as well. Now before I show you it, I just need to let you know that if you have sciatica, this might not be the best exercise for you. Some people can do it with sciatica, but most people it will aggravate the nerve. So if you have sciatica and it's still there, probably avoid this one and skip to the next. But for everyone else, this is a great exercise for safety in your lower back. The other instance that you might want to avoid this exercise is if you have osteoporosis. You need to be very careful with any kind of loaded flexion. So get checked out by your doctor before you give this a try. Otherwise, let's have a look at the exercise. So you're going to take your barbell. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick it up from the floor, and we're going to start standing with the barbell rested on the front of our legs like this. We've got an overhand grip, so our knuckles are facing forward and our fingers are pointing towards us. And we're going to keep a very straight spine throughout this movement. So you'll notice that as I move, it's my hips that are doing the movement, not my spine. So we're going to slightly bend the knees, keep the back nice and straight, slide the bar down the front of your legs and stick your bottom out behind you until you start to feel a stretch in your hamstrings, which is telling you you can't go any further, and then you're going to bring it back up again. Come to the top, don't pause for too long, go straight back down, slide the bar down the legs, keep the head following the shoulders, so we're not looking straight ahead, we're looking down at the floor, and stick the bottom out just until you feel that stretch, and then come back up, and again stick the bottom out, slide the bar down the front until we get that pull, pause, and then come back up again. And that is the Romanian deadlift. Now you notice I'm not going all the way down to the floor, because if I was, I'd have to round my back, and we don't want to do that, okay? That's not what we're doing at all. Keeping the back straight, so you can see my back's perfectly straight. It's my hips that are doing the movement, and because my back is straight and my hips are moving, it's my hamstrings that stop me. I can't physically get any further than that because I've got tightness there, but that's absolutely fine. Then we're going to come back up again. So that's a lovely contraction for the hamstrings, the hips, and the back. And again, you're going to do 10 to 15 reps. If you can do more than 15, add some weight to the bar, only 5%, not very much, and then repeat. If you don't have a bar, we're going to use dumbbells instead. So same thing applies. So we're going to start off standing. We're going to have the dumbbells touching the fronts of our legs. We've got the knuckles facing forwards. And then again, we're going to keep that nice little bend in the knee, not very much, just 10 degrees. And then we start sliding the dumbbells down the legs, stick the bottom out. And again, it should be the tension in the hamstrings that stops us. And then bring ourselves back up and then back down again. Slide the dumbbells down the fronts of the legs. They should sort of stay in contact with the legs all the way. And then bring them up again like this. And then slide them down very slowly. And then come back up. Lovely way to do it. I would recommend, again, 10 to 15 repetitions in a row, 3 sets, a couple of minutes rest between sets, and then move on to the next exercise. Congratulations, you've just done a great few sets. for your posterior chain. The next exercise we're going to do today to help you gain some more muscle is the high step. And this is the last exercise we're going to do for our legs, but it's brilliant again for the quads and the back of the hip, the glutes. So I love this exercise because it controls one of the most dangerous movements for over 50s, which is stepping down. So we call this an eccentric movement when we step down, and research has shown that more people fall on eccentric movements than any other movement. Now, if we do this exercise plenty of times, we strengthen up our ability to do these eccentric movements, which means we're less likely to fall. So it's a great muscle builder, but it also keeps you safe. So there's a couple of ways we can make this exercise work. The first question you need to ask yourself is, do I need to hold on to a banister for this exercise to be safe? If the answer is yes, we're going to do the exercise with just one weight, so one small dumbbell, and you're going to hold the banister. If it's on your left side, obviously you hold it with your left hand, and then you're going to hold the weight with your opposite hand, and you're going to use either your bottom step or the second step if you feel able to do that. The higher the step, probably the more effective the exercise. So you're going to hold your banister. I'm just going to put my hand on the wall. You're going to have one leg on the step, doesn't matter which one, and then all we're going to do is step up like this, drive that leg up, and then slowly lower down, and then straight back up again like this. So the leg on the step stays on the step throughout. And we're going to try and do 10 to 15 of these in a row without losing control of the pelvis. And when I say losing control, I mean kind of dropping down like that. That means you failed, which means you're using too heavy a weight, or you've reached the end of your set, which means you need a rest, or you need to drop the set down, the weight down. So up like this and back down. So I'm up to 1, down to 1, 2, 3. Up to 1, down to 1, 2, 3. Up to 1, down to 1, 2, 3. And once you've done your set, you can swap legs. It doesn't really matter which hand the dumbbell is in. You're still going to get a good workout from the leg that's on the step, and it's this leg here that's doing the work. Remember, the whole time we're holding onto the banister or the handrail if we need it, and that's going to help us to keep stable and safe as we do this exercise nice and slow on the way down. So that's one way to do it. If you don't need to hold on, you've got really good stability, you've got good balance, you can do this exercise with 2 dumbbells. What that means is you can split your weight between 2. So if you're using 5 kilos in this hand and you just want to use 2, you can do 2.5 in each hand. Alternatively, if you feel you can push it higher, you can try and use a heavier weight in both hands. It's completely up to you. The resistance itself doesn't matter, it just matters that you're working in that 10 to 15 rep range. So I'm going to show you with 2. So this time I'm going to face the step like this, keep a good posture, foot on the step, come up and push, and then down. Up and push, and then down. You can see it's harder to control the downward phase when you've got 2 dumbbells because you're also relying a little bit on your balance, but the weight is more evenly spread, so technically this is a better way to do it, but it really doesn't matter that much. And once you've done your set, you would swap over, put the other foot on the set. Realize here that I'm doing a set of 10 or 15 on one leg and then swapping. The reason for that is because I want to keep the time under tension on the target muscle. So if we keep swapping legs over and over, we take the tension off the target muscle to swap to the other side, and it's just not quite as effective. So you're going to do 10 to 15 on each side, 3 times over, with a minute or two's rest in between each set, and then you're going to move on to your next exercise. Now we're going to move up the body and work the shoulders, and this is one of my favorite shoulder exercises, especially for people over 50, because it works both the shoulders and the core if you do it correctly. So it's called the dumbbell shoulder press, and to make this work, you're going to need a dumbbell in each hand. And you can do this on a nice firm dining room chair, shuffle right to the edge to make it work. Alternatively, if you have a gym with a bench, you can have the back of the bench up, which means you can lean back against it and then push up overhead. That doesn't give you as much core activation, but it does mean you can push more weight, which will be better for the shoulders. So neither way is right or wrong, just choose whatever you prefer. And if you don't have access to a gym bench, it's absolutely fine to do it in the way I'm about to show you. So you're going to come to the edge of the chair. You're going to hold your dumbbells in each hand. I like to start by resting them on my knees, so I'm kind of halfway up. And then one at a time, we're going to bring the dumbbell up to here and here. This is our start position here. Keep your core nice and tight if you're sitting forward like me, And all we're going to do is push the dumbbells up overhead and then very slowly back down. So up overhead and then very slowly back down. Again, up, you can touch them at the top and slowly down. Up to 2, down to 3. So this eccentric phase coming down is always slower than the upward phase, the going up. So that's the shortening phase, and this is the lengthening phase, like this. Now I can start to feel this in my shoulders already. You might also feel this at the back of your arm too. That's normal, that's your triceps working. So this is another compound exercise that works a number of different muscle groups. And we're again aiming for that nice 10 to 15 rep range sweet spot. Once you've done your set, you can put the dumbbells down on the floor, have a rest 1 to 2 minutes before repeating a couple of times over. And then my final favorite muscle building exercise for people over 50 is the dumbbell row. And this exercise is great for strengthening your back muscles. So it will strengthen your latissimus dorsi, which is here, and your rhomboids, which live between the shoulder blades. And it'll also strengthen your biceps, so it'll give you a better looking arm as well. It's a lovely exercise. You can use a gym bench, but I like to use something a bit higher, like a back of a chair or something. That's absolutely perfect as well. And you just need one dumbbell to make this exercise work. So what we're going to do is set you up like this. So you're facing the back of the chair and you're going to put one hand on the back of the chair like this, keeping a nice straight spine if you can. And you're going to reach forward, pick up your dumbbell and just let it hang like this. Now you can see I'm bending forward, but my back is still straight. So I'm bending at the hips, not the spine. This is my start position, and all I'm going to do is pull the dumbbell up and then let it drop back down like this. Put it up and let it drop. Put it up and let it drop. And hopefully what you can see here is my shoulder blade is pulling up and back, my arm is moving, but my lower back and my mid back are completely stable. They're not rotating, they're not dropping, and they're not tilting to one side. I'm just using the movement of the shoulder and the arm. And when we come up to here, it's my rhomboids and my latissimus dorsi working, plus my arm, and then coming down here, they're slowly lengthening, so it's that 3 seconds down, 2 seconds up, 3 seconds down, 2 or 1 second up, like that. And I'm going to keep going. And again, my goal is to hit 10 or 15 repetitions in a row. Once I've done that, I'm going to move to the other side. So again, this time, I'm going to weight bear through this hand, let the dumbbell hang like this, and then pull and slowly down, pull and slowly down, pull and slowly down. And again, I'll be going for 10 to 15 reps. Just to drill this in one more time, if you can do more than 15, the weight is too light, so find something a touch heavier. But if you can't hit 10 before you get tired, then the weight is too heavy, so find something a bit lighter. So we're looking for that sweet spot. The 10 to 15 rep range works brilliantly. It's my favorite rep range for over 50s. It works super well because it doesn't fatigue you too much, but it still gives you an excellent workout, and it doesn't stress the connective tissues as much as kind of like the 5 or 6 rep range. Once you've done that, congratulations, you've completed that workout. Those are my 5 favorite muscle building exercises. Hopefully you found that useful and you can build those into your own program. So those are my 5 favorite muscle building exercises, perfect for people over the age of 50. If you give them a go, I hope you experience fantastic results, just like many of my clients already have. Thank you again for ordering the book. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you again very soon.